Well, I had a whole program set aside here just for us here today, and then I got this last-minute notice from Senator Bart Brimley's office that he was preempting this hour. Now, as far as I'm aware, he is the only Iowa State Senator who has the right to arbitrarily preempt my program anytime he jolly well pleases. He sent me over the authorization form this morning that entitles him to an hour of my program. By the way, it's not even in my jurisdiction here, folks. It's signed by the governor of the state of Iowa. As far as I know, Senator Brimley is the only state senator here in the state of Iowa who has this authority, apparently this permission, written permission from the governor. Senator Brimley, that's true, isn't it?
So that is correct. And I certainly appreciate your willingness to go along with this forced order.
Yeah, well, I don't have any choice, as I've explained to my audience. I'm just wondering, this authorization form by the governor seems to have a lot of spelling errors in it, and I didn't think the governor was prone to making these kinds of mistakes.
Well,
I counted 9 errors in less than 10 words here.
To be quite genuine with you, Frank, understand that the governor himself was not able to compose that document due to his busy schedule, and instead his son Eric was the one who had put that proclamation together, and he just had his father sign it.
Okay, well, anyway, the point is here, we set aside this time for the Senator Bart Brimley from Ring Silver County, from the 101st Senate District.
Yes, sir.
Usually you'll see his, in fact, it used to be his sister's Winnebago, parked out front at the State House during the sessions. That was up on cement blocks to cut down on the wear and tear in the tires down there. You see him, right next to the Kaibos, right up there at the state office buildings.
All the conveniences are home there, Jan.
Okay, but now you're back on the road. You're back home. You're back because the Senate's not in session. So I'm wondering exactly why are you proposing legislation that the Senate is not even in a position to consider?
Well, Jan, I don't take my job lightly here in the Iowa Senate, and one of the things that I believe is that legislation cannot be just a 3-month out of the year job, and it must be constantly pursued so that we can pursue the excellence that is necessary in the state of Iowa.
Okay, so this will be a top priority when you get back in session.
Absolutely, top priority.
All right, now I've got the pouch. It was sent over here along with the requisition form for the preempted hour. Senate Bill 30-6.
Yes, the Inconceivable Act.
Of 93. 30-6, the Inconceivable Act of 93. Now,
yes,
I haven't had time to even look at this stuff and review it. What exactly... Oh, by the way, one of the reasons why you do these things is that you believe in direct democracy, right?
Absolutely.
Participatory democracy.
Absolutely.
You thought of the town meeting idea long before Ross Perot ever even thought of it, right?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
So will you help? You always ask for assistance from your constituency.
I believe, Jan, the best thing to do is to take the suggestions for legislation before the people of this great state.
Okay.
And to have them offer their possible amendments, clarifications if necessary, and get this so that it truly does reflect the will of the people.
And so far, every piece of legislation that you've ever proposed in this program has always received overwhelming public support.
That is correct, sir.
I've often noticed, too, that you have never been a bit shy about stating your political aspirations. The White House is your goal.
That is correct, sir.
And you're hoping that this is the piece of legislation that could put you over the top, so to speak, so you could you'd launch your name to political prominence across the country.
I believe that, Jan, what you'll find is the Inconceivable Act of 1993 will be just that vehicle that will launch me to my career.
Okay, exactly what is this thing? Because I understand here at the top says you were listening to both my program yesterday and Rush Limbaugh's program yesterday afternoon. You figure out a way to combine the two notions we were talking about.
Yes, I was listening to your brother Rush yesterday, and he was mentioning a story about how some of the eastern states along the eastern seaboard, they are not hunting deer with the bullets with the intent of killing them.
Yeah, they don't have a deer season going on now in the eastern seaboard yet.
That is correct. However, they are experiencing a problem with runaway deer populations. Population of the deer is just exploding due to weather conditions.
Yeah. And
number
loss of
factors.
predators. There's just not enough predators to go around out in the eastern seaboard, so they get run amok deer population.
That is correct, sir. So
right.
what these some of these eastern seaboard states are doing is they are, instead of shooting deer to kill, they are shooting the does, the young female deers.
Mm-hmm.
You know a doe.
Yeah, doe, a deer, a female deer. Yeah.
Shooting these does with contraceptive darts.
Yeah?
Shooting them with contraceptive darts, and what they're doing then
hitting them in the flank with a contraceptive dart.
Yes, sir, they are. And what that it does is it does not allow them to procreate, as it were. Well, they may still procreate, but they won't actually create. They may have the act.
Yeah, okay.
But they will not conceive. That's the title of the...
They still recreate, but they don't procreate.
Yes, sir, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, that's my producer Richard was able to make that more concise for us. Thank you, Richard.
Makes them inconceivable.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway, so they shoot the doe, a female deer.
A doe, a deer.
In the left
female deer.
In the left or right flank, and they are rendered what?
Inconceivable, Jan.
Okay, so for that season.
They will be out of season.
Yes. Okay.
So to speak.
All right. So that cuts down on the deer population.
Of course.
Well, that's So what's well, they're doing that out east. What's to prevent DNR from doing that here?
Well,
what's the big deal? We don't need the Inconceivable Act. In fact, we have plenty of people going out deer hunting. We probably don't. We don't have an excessive deer population here in the state of Iowa, Senator Brimley.
Here's where two seemingly unrelated stories come together.
All right.
On your program yesterday, you were talking about this young man in Des Moines.
Yeah.
He has cohabitated, if you will, with two separate women.
Yeah.
Unfortunate circumstances. In the first case, had a set of triplet children.
Yeah.
Tragic story.
Mm-hmm.
However, he has left the taxpayers and citizens of Iowa with about a $700,000 tax bill to take care of those poor children.
Yeah.
Well, what occurred to me, these two seemingly unrelated stories, was perhaps the idea that they're using out on the eastern seaboard could be applied not to deer.
I think I'm beginning to understand what you're driving at.
But to people, not to deer. A doe.
Oh.
A female deer.
Yes. You could, you're not really thinking about using contraceptive darts to shoot young females of the human species.
That is exactly what I'm proposing, Jan.
No, wait a minute. Now, walk us through this thing, because this is going to seem awfully... Now, I'm not your campaign manager or anything here, Senator Brimley.
I understand that.
But...
You'd be the furthest thing from it, frankly.
Yeah, but this might not be all that a politically correct piece of legislation. I mean, maybe... Try to make me understand this a little bit better, Senator Brimley.
Well, what we would set up, Jan, would be a hunting season.
Yeah.
On young female women.
In the state of Iowa?
In the state of Iowa.
Because your jurisdiction is only in the state of Iowa.
That is correct, sir.
Okay.
Persons would be allowed to buy a license.
Yeah.
And there would be a bag limit, if you will. Of 3.
3
females.
Okay. You're not going to shoot women.
No, of course not, Jan. That would be tragic. That would be terrible. What I propose is that we would be loading up air rifles, the kind that's used for this...
the veterinary people use it.
The veterinary people.
Okay, all right.
Instead of... or the kind that used for the paintball games. These games, the war games that people play out in the woods. They shoot the little paint pellets.
Yeah.
We would be using those air rifles. We would use darts that are filled with contraceptives instead of tranquilizers.
They'd shoot contraceptives at whom?
Well, what we'd be doing is we'd be shooting these child-prone females in
the flank,
the derriere region.
Yeah, just like okay. You'd shoot kid-prone females in the flank
with these no-kid pellets, the contraceptive pellets. Now, the beautiful thing about this is mostly the female would never even know that she's been darted.
Why not?
It's painless.
It's painless?
I tried it out on my own wife first just to check it out. She said it's painless.
She doesn't even feel it happening.
Did not feel it
Doesn't
happening.
even know she's been made inconceivable.
I asked her one night, I said, honey, did you feel that? And she said, feel what? So I think it's killed it. It's worked out.
Senator Brimley, I have a cough.
understand it's very chilly there in Des Moines today.
I need to take a short time out here. So, see, I'll get some coffee and or something, drink some DDP, and
you must take care of yourself.
Come right back here on 1040 WHO. It's 1022 on 1040 WHO radio. We have been preempted this morning. This is Senator Bart Brimley's command performance here. He's just said, hey, I am taking your show for an hour. We're going to use it in the public interest, the public good, to evaluate Senate Bill 30-6. It's called the Inconceivable Act of 1993. It's designed to build on a premise that they're using in the eastern seaboard states to cut down on excessive deer populations. Senator Brimley thinks this could be used in certain kid-prone populations here in the state of Iowa. And if you're just joining us here, you're actually suggesting, Senator Brimley, that we load up air rifles, like the same kind of air rifles they use in those paint war games.
Yes, sir.
Load them up with biodegradable, no-kid pellets, and people would be able to buy hunting licenses, as it were, but with a bag limit of up to 3.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And you'd be able to dart. These people would be able to dart a kid-prone female in the flank, rendering them inconceivable for how long a period of time?
Well, it would be simply for the contraceptive pellet would last approximately 1 year.
Okay.
So we would have an annual season.
Okay. Now, I've never heard of this, but it says that our government's been using this technique for a long time. Tell me about that.
Well, the CIA, Jan, as you may know, has been using these contraceptive pellets for years in Central America. Perhaps you've heard the expression of the Contras. Of course, that is where the origin of the term.
I didn't. The Contras were equipped with air darts, and they were.
Yes, so that is correct, and that is how they have come by their name of the Contras.
Well, who would be who would be entitled to buy a hunting license?
Well, you could. We've got a number of different ways that we can do this. One of the things that we intend to do with this legislation is to make it to use it to boost tourism in the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
What we would do is we would charge out-of-state hunters up to $500 for a hunting license. And
okay.
The economic impact of this legislation. Can you imagine folks driving in from Minnesota, from Wisconsin, from Illinois, Nebraska, coming in to shoot our kid-prone females? Be coming in, they'd be spending money in our restaurants and our hotels, and they'd be spending the night spending money with our gasoline stations.
They'd be buying lottery tickets, maybe even stopping off at some of the casinos.
Yeah, in fact, that's probably one of the places that they'd be actually doing some of the hunting itself.
What is the hunting season? I mean, exactly what time of the year would that be?
Well, the hunting season itself would begin in the spring of the year.
Okay.
Would run until it would begin when the sap flows, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
And will run until the first part of the summer.
Ah, okay.
When this type of activity, this child creation, this procreation activity, this recreation, is at its peak.
Okay, now exactly where would they be able to hunt? I mean, just anybody? I mean, would anybody with a license would be able to use one of these air rifles? They'd spend what? Out-of-staters would have to spend up to $500. So what about domestic people? I mean, how much would that cost?
Well, domestic folks, we think that they're going to be doing their part to keep things in order in the state. So the fee would be significantly less than the $500. In fact, we may even waive the fee for in-state hunters.
Well, they'd be given what? 3 pellets? Then that's it?
Well, you have to account for losses, Jan. You have to account for misses.
Windage.
Windage, for example, yes. The trajectory of the pellets. Not always what you expect, especially for your amateur hunters. People who do not hunt very often. You would have a bag limit of 3, and much as you would have in hunting deer or something like that, there is a certain honor system. It would be enforced by the DNR.
Oh, did you get a picture of the person that you've hit? I mean, get their permission, or you just go? I mean, after you've bagged somebody, I mean, what's the glory? I mean, if you shoot a deer, you get at least a rack. So I mean, if you hit some kid-prone female in the flank, I mean, what do you have to show for it?
Well,
Except maybe the thrill of the hunt itself.
That's the main part of it, and the thrill of knowing that you're doing something good for your state by preventing the expense, the needless expense that's being incurred by the folks who are going on welfare, having children out of wedlock.
Well, I'm having trouble thinking of any downside to this. I'm wondering if it sounds like it's a win-win situation. The state gets some bucks. The hunters here in the DNR's got to love this. The National Rifle Association is going to have to love this.
Firm advocates. I've already talked to the office here locally, and they are firmly behind this.
Let's see. The Planned Parenthood.
And exemptions and things such as that.
Okay, because you wouldn't want anybody just going loose on the whole territory here, just shooting every female you see. I mean, it doesn't. Some people might want to have some kids. And by the way, just in case you would like to help evaluate Senate Bill 30-6, that's the Inconceivable Act of 1993. Keep this in mind before we go any further on this whole thing.
This is a scam. Mm-hmm. If this were not a scam, you would believe it.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Don't do that.
Okay.
This is only a scam.
Okay. Oh boy, hear that promo for that movie on USA, Rub Down. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. It's too bad when reality sounds worse than our scams. I mean, from a serious proposal that Senator Bart Brimley is making us here today. Senate Bill 30-6 is the name of his latest piece of legislation he wishes to propose. You're going to bring this up at the next session of the state legislature. Isn't that correct, Senator Brimley?
Yes, it occurs to me, Jan, too, it seems as though a young single female who will be watching that rub-down movie might be a prime target for this bill.
Yeah. Okay, so before we talk to some of the people who are evaluating the Inconceivable Act of 1993, where would the people be permitted to hunt? I mean, where would be the hunting territories?
Well, we have outlined several places, certainly open to other suggestions as well, but some of the places that we have agreed to set up as hunting territory for the Inconceivable Act, for folks who are shooting these, dotting these females, would be skating rinks, for example, video arcades, junior, senior high dances, lottery machines, video stores, movie theater parking lots, lonely country roads, welfare offices, Planned Parenthood parking lots, places such as those, high-risk areas for this type of activity.
Okay, exactly. Are there any places off limits? I mean, for instance, there's a lot of kid-prone females who might be young married ladies, for instance. I mean, somebody who might be trying to get pregnant. I mean, how would you? I mean, you can't bag somebody that way, can you?
No, of course not. Of course not. There would be certain exemptions from ladies who would be eligible to be dotted.
Okay.
Some exemptions. Any female who was wearing a wedding ring, for example, would be exempt from being darted.
If you're wearing a wedding ring, you can't get darted.
That's correct, yes.
All right. Who else?
Grandmothers.
Grandmothers?
It's that dignity thing, you understand?
Yeah, okay. It would be an undignified thing to dart grandmothers.
Yes.
Okay.
There is one other exemption, Jan.
What's that?
Well, teenage females could buy, for a small fee, a special yellow tag that they would wear during hunting season. If they have a medical excuse or if they have religious reasons to be exempt from...
They'd have to wear, during the hunting season, wear a yellow tag so they cannot be taken.
Right. If they have a medical excuse, it'd be a temporary type thing, a religious reason to be exempt. For example, the campus of Dowling High School in West Des Moines might be an example of a religious reason to be exempt.
Okay, the whole Dowling campus would be posted.
Be considered a posted area, that's correct.
No hunting there.
No hunting.
Well, okay, I can see you've considered the upside and you've heard the downside of the Inconceivable Act of 1993. It's Senate Bill 30-6. Senator Bart Brimley is on our newsmaker line right now, and what we'll do is we'll just regroup here for just a few moments, and we'll begin to take your calls to evaluate his legislation. This is Democracy in Action, folks. Right after Bob Quinn updates us on our farm markets. Okay, as we're getting back to work here, this hour has gone by quickly. Even though it's preempted, I've found it a very interesting one. I guess, Senator Brimley, when you do preempt one of my shows like this, I kind of resent it up front. I have to be honest with you. When you come in here and just demand the time, you get permission from the governor, just come in and just take an hour of my time. I guess I tend to resent it, but you've never let me down. It's always been interesting whenever you suggested a piece of legislation. And this one, Senate Bill 30-6, the Inconceivable Act of 93, it has, I have to admit it's captured my imagination, and I can't think of a downside to this thing.
I believe that it's a very meritorious situation, a piece of legislation that we can be using here.
In case you're wondering what we're talking about, Senate Bill 30-6, the Inconceivable Act of 93, would entitle people with special hunting licenses to load up air rifles with darts filled with contraceptives instead of those paint pellets, and then shoot kid-prone females in the flank with no kid pellets. They get loaded with biodegradable pellets, environmentally safe. And you've tested this on your wife, and it's painless.
She still does not feel anything.
Yeah.
I should mention, Jan, that the pellets are made from a soy-based product, so it also is another form of economic development for the state of Iowa.
These were developed up at the ISU Ag. This was originally by the Ag program up at ISU, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so this is with it would stimulate local economy. It would be fun. The hunters would enjoy it.
I believe so.
The taxpayers benefit. It's a win-win situation. I can't think of a downside. Maybe some of our listeners can who are joining us, okay?
This is the reason that I preempted, Jan, is I just like to feel the pulse of the people, if I may.
And to know that at the highest levels, the CIA has been doing this in Central America for years. The Contras have been at it for a long time already. Let's begin with one of our listeners. Kathy, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Hi, Jan.
What do you think?
Oh, I'm just sitting here laughing. Who is this guy?
This is Senator Brett Brimley. He represents the 101st Senate District down there in Ring Silver County.
For real?
It's a pleasure to meet you, Candy.
I'm just laughing. You're a riot.
Well, this isn't the first time, Senator Brimley, we've had people fail to grasp the seriousness of your concept.
I understand that, Jan. One of the beauties of some of the legislation that I've proposed is that it's very non-traditional. I do not believe in playing the political games.
Hey, if you can get people off of welfare, if that's the objective.
The only problem with the concept, you have to get them off their butts before you can shoot them in the flank.
Oh, Jan, you're funny.
Thank you, Kathy. Well, gee, I'd love to cheer up the people here in the heartland, but that's not the goal of this program.
That's become painfully obvious, I believe, over the last 4 or 5 years.
Senator Brimley's here to propose some... Excuse me, I have to cough again.
You must take better care of yourself, Jan. Serving valuable public interest.
We're not here to entertain the listeners during this hour that's been preempted. We're here in order to contemplate a serious piece of legislation. I wish people would get with the program. Let's talk to some more folks here. Jan, good morning. Thank you for joining Senator Brimley.
Yes, thanks, Jan.
Yeah.
I really am so glad that you're helping us to be aware of what's going on down there.
Yeah.
I have a concern. I want to bring it up, and then I'll hang up so that the senator can address this.
Okay.
Just how available are these pellets going to be? Won't there be a problem with drive-by shootings in the off-season?
Well,
Yeah.
we're certainly hoping that will be the case. That type of activity will, in fact, be encouraged, Jan.
You're going to try... Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we'll figure it this way. What's the worst that can happen?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right. Let's talk to some more folks who are joining us here, and I think this is Wayne. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
This sort of gives a new meaning to the term trophy wife, doesn't it?
It does.
I never thought about that, yes.
I have a couple of questions I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
After we shoot,
Yeah.
get a successful hit, do we have to tag? I mean, I'm thinking if these females get hit 2 or 3 times,
Well, yeah.
it could get dangerous. I mean,
Well, that's certainly a part of the legislation that I had not considered, Wayne. I appreciate you calling that to my attention.
and the other part goes right into what if they shoot back?
Well, and they'll never be known they're being shot at.
I don't know.
It's painless.
There's no sensation whatsoever. They're only to be shot in those insensate parts where there's not a lot of sensitivity to begin with. The air rifles make no sound. I don't think you have to worry about return fire here, Ray.
And one last question. Are the air rifles going to fit into the gun rack in the back of my pickup?
I don't know. See, I can't answer that. Maybe a gun dealer or somebody from the the National Rifle Association could answer that question. I don't know. What I've never used one of those air rifles. What about you, Senator Brimley?
No, I have not. They're relatively close to size to a regular rifle. You may have to make minor modifications, and we will also perhaps get an Iowa-based industry to create also biodegradable the adapter that is necessary for your
Now,
gun
I'm
rack.
wondering though, in some population areas, you just can't be walking around with a rifle in your hand, and it's sort of stealth is one of the things that is the asset to the hunter. I'm wondering if you could use a pistol at close range.
Well, I believe that there's a modification that is available for a standard handgun that would allow these. There are air guns.
Yeah, you go into a
handheld.
crowd. You go into some of these video arcades, or go to a skating rink. You just can't be
Just
carrying.
don't want to be walking in.
Yeah, you can't be carrying a rifle with a bandolero over your shoulder.
No.
You're gonna stealth is the name of the game, right?
I do believe that they do make a handheld air rifle, not a rifle, but it would be a handgun, revolver.
Yeah, it'd be an air pistol. An air pistol,
yes,
just like they use it.
that'd be the
Yeah,
one.
okay, we could do that.
And, you have to be careful about, especially when you're out in public, making sure that you always keep your pistol concealed.
Let's talk to some more folks, okay?
Yes, sir.
Who are joining us from all over the state with evaluation of your legislation. I think this is Debbie. Thank you for joining us, Deb.
Hi.
Hi there.
I've been listening to you this morning, and I am just completely appalled. I am married, and I have 2 children, and you're telling me that if I went out in a parking lot one day and forgot my wedding ring, that I could get shot in the hip and be where I couldn't have children for a while?
Well, only for a year.
Only for a year?
Yeah.
You're interfering with women's rights once again, and you both sound like total male chauvinists sitting there. Oh, it's hunting season on women. I understand the welfare problem that they're going out and having too many children, but this is not the whole human race.
That's true. There are some women who are not kid-prone. In fact, there are kid-prone women, Senator Brimley, who are... What happens if Debbie is at the kitchen sink? She doesn't want to get her wedding ring tarnished. She takes it off because she has her hands soaped up and she doesn't want to lose it down the sink, and she forgets to put it on. And she wants to have another kid. That doesn't seem fair to me somehow.
Well, it seems as though that people are just going to have to be more careful as they leave the homes and make sure that they have the proper accoutrements on. For example, you would not leave your home without your eyeglasses if you were required to wear eyeglasses while you drive, would you?
What if my wedding ring is in the jeweler's getting fixed because, say, I smashed it in something?
You're
saying I should wear a fake one so I don't get shot in the hip?
You should get a loaner, Deb.
That's insane.
Well, one of the other things that you have to remember, Danny, is that the hunting territories are fairly specific at this point. There's not actually looking for open season on women, as you've referred to it. So what we're talking about here is specific. You would want to stay away. For example, if you were wanted to go out and rent a video from one of your local video stores and you'd forgotten your wedding ring, you probably would just have to simply return home, get your wedding ring back on, and go back, because the video store would be a hunting territory.
Just stay away from the skating rinks and video arcades and high schools and lottery machines and
welfare offices.
So there's not going to be freedom to women then.
Well,
we have to remember our wedding ring when we go out, and if we don't, and I know a lot of men who don't wear their wedding rings, but I don't hear that they're going to go get shot in the hip and be unable to have children.
That's an interesting idea. Why are we only picking on the female of the species here? Can't you do the same thing? They have been practicing, and they almost have approved contraceptive implants for males too. That could work, Senator Brimley.
Yes, I understand it can, but as you mentioned, the technology is not at that level at this point. And this legislation is based on what has been done out on the eastern coast, the eastern seaboard, with shooting the does, the female deer.
And of course, once again, the women are the ones who don't get to have the choice. Once again. Yeah,
it doesn't seem right somehow, Debbie.
Well, I'm glad the senator's not from my area.
Yeah.
Well, Deb, I appreciate your comments. I'll take those into consideration.
There's another thing, Debbie, we could consider during the hunting season, if this is approved here in the state of Iowa. You could wear, special. This is another aftermarket thing. How Iowa businesses could kick in and answer the needs here. Wear hip protectors, so that.
This is crazy. We live in America. We should not have to wear hip protectors or wedding ring when we go outside the home for fear of being shot in the hip in hunting season. I am not a deer. I am not a deer or a wolf or whatever outside. Yeah. I should not have to think about being shot because I forgot to put on my hip protectors or my wedding band.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. I tend to agree with you there. She says she's not a doe. She's not a female. She's not a female deer.
She's not a doe.
No.
She's not a deer.
No, she's not a female
deer.
And she should therefore not be subjected to being shot in the flank. Oh, and by the way,
I think there's one key thing for Debbie to remember at this point.
And this is the thing.
This is a scam.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon?
If this were not a scam,
what would happen?
You would believe it.
Oh, we don't want that to happen.
Don't do that.
Okay.
This is only a scam.
Well, fortunately, this hour is just about over. Senator Brimley, from time to time, preempts a whole hour of my program so he can float these trial balloon legislations. This one is called Senate Bill 30-6. When the Senate reconvenes, Senator Brimley, people will be able to call their senators and ask them to vote for this?
I wish that they would.
Okay, it's called Senate Bill 30-6, the Inconceivable Act of 1993.
That's correct, sir.
And if, just for short, if you can't remember the Senate bill number, just call your appropriate representative and said you're in favor of the Inconceivable Act.
Yes.
Okay. And they'll know what you mean.
You support the Inconceivable Act.
Yes. Okay. Let's talk with some more folks here. This is Chris. Good morning, Chris. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate your guest's input. I did hear a similar suggestion on late-night Chicago radio station last night.
Is that right?
Yes, I did.
Well, talk to us about this. This is really neat.
Well, basically, it wasn't on the same line that you're going on this morning, but his suggestion was Norplant. What came to my mind immediately was, that's well and fine.
Yeah. But see, that's voluntary, and you'd have to ask permission.
Yeah.
You'd have to get doctors and parental support. This way,
well, my question was,
we could turn this into a recreation activity.
Yeah, my thought about Norplant was that could still be a health problem if these females continue to, shall we say, do what comes naturally.
Yeah.
And couldn't this also be a problem with the senator's suggestion?
Well, see, Senator, can I help you with this one?
Well, I wish you would, Jan.
Because, one of the beauties of this, Chris, is that the female would never know. So she would still be being very careful, even though she's already inconceivable.
Oh, I see. But what about those other side effects of sexual activity?
Well, no. I mean, she will still be protecting herself, and maybe even.
How will she protect herself?
Well, she's
the usual way.
I don't want to have to. Don't want to have to explain that to you, Chris, on the radio. That's. Anyway, Senator Brimley, thank you for joining us here.
Are we out of time, Jim?
Yeah, we have to go now. The hour is over.
Would you buy a pair of shoes without trying them on?
Well. The senator is gone here, so it's just the two of us here. If you'd like to continue some open topic time, that's fine with me. You're welcome to join us. Here's where 284-1040 or 800-469-4295 on our toll-free Iowa Network Services line. You're welcome to change the subject or stick with the one we got or join us in anything you jolly well please as Michael's in the Morning proceeds. I think this is Linda. Good morning, Linda. Thank you. Hi. Thank you for
Dan.
Hi. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah.
I was really kind of excited about the senator putting through that legislation.
It is. It is really a mind bender, isn't it? He always comes up with such novel approaches to social problems.
Well, I think he's going about it in the wrong approach in that they should get special tags for the women that want to get tagged, that want to get shot, so that they don't have to spend the money on the birth control and the doctor's visits and that.
Oh.
And that would, in fact, to me it would make more sense because that's what hunting is supposed to be all about. You're supposed to go find your prey, the specific prey that you want.
Well, see, make it awful easy. It takes sort of the fun out of it, wouldn't you think? If you're shooting, it would be like shooting clay pigeons. It's fun for practice. Maybe you could practice on people who want to get shot.
Right.
But what about the hard-to-find prey?
Well, see, that's what the tags would be for.
Well, I mean, that would be like marking people who are just going out and flaunting it, so to speak. I mean, it's just an easy target. It takes a lot of the thrill of the hunt out.
Yeah, but See, I don't think the women that would want to get shot would necessarily flaunt it because they're, well, the first year they might, but the second year they might have to wait until a certain month.
Yeah.
Before they could actually get shot to carry over, the birth control.
Okay.
So it might work out better like the second year. The first year probably would be pretty easy.
I never thought about that.
But the second year might be hard.
Okay.
And I also think he needs to boost up the amount of hunters that can get the license, like when they have the natural disasters, like with power outages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a pretty well known fact that 9 months later, there's more pregnancies at that time.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of fraternization going on. In times people have to
keep warm.
Yeah. Power outages and maybe blizzard periods like that. But see, it's going to be tough because those people are usually confined in their lairs, so to speak, during those things. You can't really you really can't go into people's houses. We're not advocating breaking and entering just to get a
but when they go
trophy.
To the store to get refreshments.
When they come out for supplies?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
All right.
I would be all for it.
Now, I'd suggest you write to the senator and provide some of these things because he's always looking for ways to embellish or to refine his legislation.
Really, and it could also possibly put off surgery for like the women that have gotten tubal ligations and stuff to stop pregnancy completely.
Okay.
And for later on.
You have a very fertile mind. Is the rest of you pretty much the same?
Not really. I just was really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah.
I thought, well, this would be really great.
Yeah, okay.
Because, I went through years going on birth control when I didn't want to have children, and then, of course, quit when I did.
Yeah, okay.
And I thought of all the money I put into that, and I thought, well, this would really save me money in my pocket.
Okay. Well, see, you're basically a cheap person. That's what's motivating you, then, isn't it, Linda?
Right.
Well, okay.
I want to get money for myself.
Thanks a lot, Linda.
Okay.
Bye. See, isn't human nature wonderful? How it's able to accommodate and adapt to changing environmental conditions so rapidly. You can't squelch the human spirit. You could try. Let's talk to some more folks here. This is Max. Good morning, Max.
Good morning, Jen. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Say, the reason I called, I was trying to get in when Senator Brimley was on. But I tell you, Senator Brimley is a fine example as to why we should absolutely not have term limits for members of our state and national congresses. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Politicians basically have two main traits. One, they think they have the answers to our problems, and two, they think they know how best others should live their lives, or both.
Yes.
Okay, therefore, we should not have term limits. We should elect them for life. No retirement, no resignation.
Yes.
In other words, if you run for office and win,
once they're in,
you're absolutely in forever. You understand it's a lifelong position. Once in, you can't get out.
It's a sentence.
Yeah.
Then.
Now, what will have to happen to keep Congress focused on doing what the people want is simply that we make political assassination an aggravated misdemeanor.
Just reduce the penalty.
That's it. Put them in there for life and put a gun to their head and say, okay, this is it. And that's tongue-in-cheek, by the way.
Yes, of course it is.
Yes.
All right. I appreciate it. Well, you're into the spirit of the thing anyway.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Max.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's talk to some more folks. Hey, open topic time means just exactly that. You can change it and go in any direction you jolly well please. Tomorrow? I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. I do know, but I just lose track. We'll talk with some more folks here on 1040 WHO Radio. Norma, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, good morning, Jan.
Hi.
I'm afraid maybe one or two people out there listening this morning may have taken this character seriously, and I certainly hope not.
Well, I should hope not. We don't try to encourage that kind of thing.
I would hope not, because that's about the sickest bunch of drivel I've listened to for a long time, and I shut the radio off when he got into it really well, but I had to stay on the phone in order to talk to you, and then I still got it.
Yeah.
But I say you've wasted an hour of good time that could have been spent
That's
on
the way
important.
I think about it. When he preempts me like that, see, I don't have any control over that, and it really annoys me when that happens.
Come on, don't give me that. I know how that works. Anyway, I think it's kind of stupid, and the whole thing was pretty sick, and we could get to something important in life here maybe this morning before it's over with.
Can you maybe give us a suggestion? Just run amok Iowa population.
Well, my brain is so full of this junk now that I can't think of anything else.
Thank you, Norma.
All right, bye-bye.
On a cellular call. How you doing, Ted?
Very fine.
And well, I didn't know people from the 101st District were allowed to have cellular phones.
Well, we are, and I'll tell you what, it's men like Senator Brimley that have made it all possible.
Yeah.
I do want to say I've had a chance to, the last 4 or 5 days, conduct an independent poll for Senator Brimley.
Yeah.
And I'd like to pass that on. But by the same token, I have a relatively famous relative that appeared on the Carson show many years ago on a regular basis named Red Neckerson.
Is that right?
That's correct, and my name is Ted Neckerson.
All right.
So I have been able to help out tremendously, and I just wanted to give the results of those polls. Now, there is a sideline to this
I love
poll.
democracy. Direct democracy really works, and you're another example of that, Ted.
Well, that's very good. But it's Senator Brimley that we owe all this to, has really expounded our bounds of democracy down here.
Okay.
At any rate, I want you to know that we have taken a poll of 1,462 teenagers down here of the feminine persuasion.
Yes.
86% of those are in favor of the Inconceivable Act.
Is that right?
That's correct. Now, of that 86%, 32% of the 86% think it's even better than a law. It should be universal, not just in Iowa.
Yes.
Now, the last thing, and this is just a small piece of pork barrel that Senator Brimley is adding to this particular bill, he is going to make sure that all of the Rhode Island Reds in Iowa are going to be shipped back to Rhode Island.
Oh.
That's what they call pork barrel politics. He hasn't talked about it, but he's going to introduce that as his next piece of legislation just to rid the state of these chickens that have nothing to do with the development of Iowa.
They're interloping fowl.
Exactly.
Actually, be foul interlopers.
Jan, it's been good talking to you. I've got to continue my activities here.
And whatever they are, I don't want to hear about them.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir. Bye-bye. On 1040 WHO Radio and another cellular call. Shelley, thank you for joining us. Thank you for participating this morning, Shelley.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
Well, Jan, I just had a comment that,
okay. Yeah.
Of course, the goal apparently is with Senator Brimley is to shoot women with the darts, right?
Well, yeah, that's the recreational part of that.
Okay. My point is that women aren't obviously the only irresponsible ones, so maybe we should also be shooting men with, their form of birth control and darts.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how that could be done. And we had somebody suggested it's not fair to, again, load up the women, so to speak, and make them accountable for this, because actually it's the guy that should bear the lion's share of this. But 2 points. One is women make better targets, at least, and easier to hit, so to speak. And the second part of this is we don't really have the technology ironed out for the guys yet.
Oh, I think we very easily could. It's just that it's been so easy to make women share the burden of contraceptives that men just have never taken that burden on. And if we would just, and actually there are, being a biochemist, there are theories that would actually be easier to control a male's cycle and ability to propagate than it is for women, and safer.
Well, I hope that happens.
Just a suggestion.
I don't think this, I can't speak for the senator on this one, but I think he would be open for suggestions once the technology and the liability issues are worked out.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Shelley.
Have a good week.
Oh, brother. Well, see, this is one of the unusual times where the senator, one of his suggestions has lingered on after he has left the airwaves here. Now, doggone it, he preempted the whole first hour And, I was hoping we could change the subject now, but apparently he got everybody so fired up. That's okay. That will continue this. That's fine. But see, I don't know the legislation like Senator Brimley does, and he's gone. So I'd have to just kind of make it up as I go. I hate that when I have to do that. Let's talk to some folks here. First with Don Quinn over at Helen and Pat's. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning. Well, you're kind of used to pretty good at making up things as you go.
What?
I've been listening to you for years. You do a good job of that.
Are you suggesting something here, Mr. Quinn?
No, not at all.
I had some cavatelli last night. We called over to the Ankeny Cavatelli Works there, and we had my wife go pick it up.
Well, good.
It was wonderful. It was good stuff.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things you don't have to make up. You don't have to worry about. Cavatelli is always good.
That's right.
We have a lot of other good items at all of our stores. Of course, all of our stores sell cavatelli. And like I say, each one of them has some specialty items of their own. They all have pizza in that.
Yeah.
And we have 4 locations. And, of course, they're all open lunch and dinner. We all have carry-out service available. And we all have eat-in service. So if you get hungry, you'll find us up in Ankeny at 705 South Ankeny Boulevard in the Benchwarmers Lounge there.
Okay.
And you'll find us in Mitchellville, and that's right downtown Mitchell, right on Main Street there.
Yeah.
And up here in Highland Park, we're at 209 Euclid, where we've been now for the last 39 years. And, of course, our newest location is at 5418 Douglas. And stop by and give us a try at any one of our locations.
All right. That's, of course, Helen and Pat's, the home of cavatelli. Thanks a lot, Mr. Quinn.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good news.
Well, Bob Quinn is coming by in just a few moments. Lee Klein is on the way to an ag-related activity. So Bob Quinn will be sitting in for him. Right now, though, it's just the two of us. And Diane, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Yes, I was just wondering, it's really a joke.
What? I mean,
this guy that's supposed to shoot people.
We missed part of what you said. Your phone cut out on us there. What did you say?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I says, is this really a joke that this guy wants to shoot people for birth control? Is that a joke, or is this something that they're really propagating?
Well, no, that's the whole idea, is to keep people from propagating.
Oh.
Diane, the whole idea is to bring that to a condition overpopulation in Iowa under control.
Well, I understand that, but what about if we get some real zealous hunters out there and a girl gets shot 4, 5, 6 times? What happened? Can you OD on this stuff?
I'm not sure. That's been tested, and I haven't had the senator explain that to me.
Well, we should get this all
I'm sure
down pat.
I'm sure that the FDA will approve this. It'll be low dose, low intensity, so I don't think anybody can,
I mean, we get some zealous guys out there that just love this game hunting.
Well, they only get 3 shots, okay? They only get 3 shots. They only get 3 shots.
Oh, I see.
So, I mean, they other than that, they have to go back and get some more. They have to go buy another license. The bag limit is of 3.
But this is really serious. They're serious on this, right?
Well, see, I had the senator. Now, can you hear everything? Can she hear this? Okay. We were very careful in order to label this legislation in the following respect. We've done this several different times here, Diane. Now, listen carefully as you'll hear this.
This is a scam.
Yeah.
If this were not a scam, you would believe it.
We don't want that to happen.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Okay.
This is only a scam.
Whenever you hear, that's the official warning. See, sometimes where I live in Ankeny, Diane, they play every Saturday. The noon whistle goes off, and that siren goes off. They test the sirens every Saturday. Mm-hmm. Lets people know that the tornado warning is working. Mm-hmm. Well, consider that the similar a warning system to a scam. That's our early warning scam alert device. We play that when we want to make sure that people don't artificially misunderstand Senator Brimley when he goes on one of his legislative expeditions.
I see. Well, I guess I just didn't hear that at the beginning.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's no problem at all. Your concern is registered, and the senator will, I'm sure, add your concern to his deliberations.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we don't want anybody to be confused here. That's the last thing on our mind. Well, that's actually not the last thing on our mind. It's one of the first things. Yo, Bruce. Hi, Bruce. How you doing?
Hey, I'm all right, Jan. How are you?
I'm experiencing postpartum depression here.
Oh?
After the senator's gone, sometimes there is an emotional letdown.
Well, I can understand that. I hate to see him leave myself. But I had one concern with his proposed legislation.
Yeah. What would that be, Bruce?
Well, knowing the nature of hunters, being one myself, I'm afraid that these people will only go after the trophies, and it won't be long. We'll soon be overrun by the, so we say,
the less than desirable
species, or specimens, or whatever.
Oh, that's happened in the deer population. The best and the fittest and the biggest ones, and one of the largest racks are the ones that are first bagged.
Yeah, and I just wonder, are there any incentives being offered for maybe nailing a...
I'm not sure about that. This is in the category of natural selection.
Show Radio.